Hello, Dr. Vicki Peterson here. I want to talk to you today about a study that came out just last week from the Journal of the American Medical Association, where not only American health was looked at, but the health of many other nations. But staying at home for a moment and focusing on the U.S., what they found is that while longevity has increased a little bit over the past 20 years, so has the number of years expected that someone is on either short or long-term disability. So specifically, they found that the average American is, well, perhaps going to live to about 78 years old on average, so obviously an average estimate. But of that 78 years, the last decade of it, a full 10, it was actually 10.1 years, so a little bit longer than 10, would be spent on short or long-term disability. So this would not be enjoying good health by far in that last decade. On the contrary, it would be in very poor health for a full 10 years out of that 78 years. There's a lot of information in this study, and I will attach a link to reading more about it. But one area I really wanted to focus on was that they also stated that for the first time, poor diet exceeded smoking for risk of poor health, being on disability, and early death. So our diet has now exceeded the risk of smoking in creating ill health in our country. So it got me to thinking, if I could take you home and we could walk through your kitchen together, what kind of score would we give your kitchen? Would it rank an A? Would it get an F? Would it be somewhere in between? So why don't we do that together? You can be in your kitchen, I'll be here, and look at that refrigerator and look at that pantry and see what we see and find out, is your kitchen killing you or is it curing you? Because it has that power. That kitchen has that power. More specifically, what you put in your mouth has that power, but of course, that's what's in your kitchen, right? So let's open the refrigerator and see what we see. Do we see a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables? Organic would be lovely, but at least not GMO. If we open my refrigerator right now, I just wrote a little piece on this and I added up in my head that there would probably be six or eight vegetables and about 5 or 6 fresh fruits in the refrigerator and on my kitchen counter. So the nice thing about having a big group of that is that, of course, you want to eat them because they're there, and you get kind of creative on what to do with things that you already have in your kitchen. Do you have soda in your refrigerator? If you have it there, you're probably drinking it. It's one of the worst things you could do for yourself, the high fructose corn sweeteners or the artificial sweeteners in soda. Of course, no nutritional value, lots of calories, and even if it's a diet, it's creating more toxic effects. Maybe it doesn't have any calories as you ingest it, but artificial sweeteners are known to cause someone to eat more calories during the day. I've talked about that before, and I don't want to elaborate right now because I've got a lot to talk about, but know that that's true. What about, what else do we see in the refrigerator? Are there a lot of dairy products? I'm not a fan of dairy products, as you may know. I'm about to release a book on the topic, so you'll learn more about that. Or do we see milk substitutes like almond milk or coconut milk or rice milk? Let's see, what else can we see in that refrigerator? Are there a lot of pre-packaged foods? Is there bacon and maybe deli meats that have a very long ingredient list? And I'll probably say this a couple of times, but the big thing to focus on is that ingredient list. Is it short and is it pronounceable? And it should be both. If there's things in there that you can't pronounce because they're chemicals, you really don't want to eat them. Does it have trans fats in it? Does it have hydrogenated fats in it? All of these things are big no-nos. No artificial ingredients at all. So you want to stay away from all of that. Do you have cage-free eggs? Is your animal protein antibiotic-free and cage-free and grass-fed, things like that? That would be good. You're getting an A in that category. So let's move on to the freezer. Do we see a lot of frozen dinners? Do we see a lot of ice cream? Do we see a lot of frozen hot dogs? Now, you know, there's frozen hot dogs out there that have very limited ingredients and are pretty pure, and then there's ones that are a chemistry experiment. As I said, I'm not fond of the ice cream, but there's coconut ice cream on the market that's pretty yummy, in moderation. We don't want to do a lot of sugar. Do we see coffee? Do we see a lot of black tea? Beer? Is there too much alcohol in the kitchen? Stimulants such as caffeine from either soda or coffee or tea. If you do it in moderation and you feel fine and you don't have much energy problems, then it's probably okay. But what if I said don't drink that caffeine for 2-3 days? Would you say, oh no, I get that horrible headache? Well, that means you're addicted to it and it's not doing you any good. Let's see, where else should we go in the pantry? What about canned goods? Do you have just maybe beans that are just beans and salt and water as the ingredient? Or do you have some chilies that maybe have a very long list of ingredients? It's really about how pure the food is and avoiding the overly processed, overly refined types of products, avoiding the grains that are very refined. So if in your pantry you have whole steel cut oats, or you have whole millet, or you have brown rice that you cook, that's great. But instead, if it's quick cooking something and it's the quick cooking oatmeal that has sugar and all sorts of ingredients in it, then we're not so good again. I think you're starting to see the pattern, right? So what I'd like you to do is go to the kitchen and check it out for real and really see how you're doing. See how you're feeding yourself. See how you're feeding your family. And you don't have to make every single change overnight, but make a change. Make a positive change this week. And next week, make another positive change. And before you know it, you're going to have a kitchen that's really creating health and not disease. So I hope I've created a lot of questions from you. I do love to hear from you, and I do want to know what you think and what kind of a grade you gave your kitchen. And I think together we can really get you all to grade A students and grade A kitchens, and that will make a huge difference in your health. And that was something that the researchers said in this particular study that we've been discussing, is that if we ate better food, we ate less food, we got more exercise, and we stopped smoking, we'd be in excellent shape. So I hope that was helpful, and until next time, I wish you very good health.